From One of One Production Studios, broadcasting from NYC, you are listening to Unexpected Success with your host, Joy.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unexpected Success with your host, Joy. In this video, again, we have Leon Bailey, who again is the founder of LeBe Group. And he was going into his next, his next venture and how he kind of, transitioned and pivoted from apparel to his other ventures.
You said a great word right there, is pivoted. And that's one thing that you have to be. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to pivot. And what I did was when I was dealing with the last loss that we was talking about in the previous episode, I looked at what's been working for me. So
Right.
at this particular time, yes, we just finished shutting down the global apparel company, but I'm still collecting rent off of that property down there
in Hampton. Right.
So I'm like, this thing is kind of all right. You know, my partner Jabari, he's down there still because he was like a couple classes behind us, and he was doing architecture major, so he's actually property managing it for me.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
And he's cool because he's like, all right, I'm doing application fees, I'm taking care of it. No
yeah,
worries.
and so it's working. You feel good about it, right?
Yeah, so no worries. So when I came up here to the DC, Maryland area, first thing first, I was not to show my gratitude, but I just realized, like I said, when I did self-reflection, what I really wanted, I proposed to my wife.
Excellent, right?
You know, and with that being the case, now that I'm out here, we're looking like, because she was living with her sisters, like, okay, now we got to find our own place. So, you know, we're going through that whole wedding planning stuff and budgeting. And we found a spot, and like, it's just quick. I'm going to make it real quick, like how God works. Found a spot at this particular time. I just finished shutting down my company.
Right.
All I got as far as income right now coming in is my property in Hampton.
Right.
And I'm about to apply for this new construction house.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Right.
I don't even have a job yet.
Right, but so what? You still have this.
So what? We're
right.
gonna go. They say they need $5,000 down. I still got a little bit of money left, you know.
Right,
so I'm
right.
like, okay, cool. So I put it down and said, okay, cool. Now, in order for us to get the house, they're not going to really pull my credit particularly until they start to actually break ground.
Right.
So now I'm actually trying to hustle to actually try to get a job.
Yeah.
So I can.
Right, because you're just trying to make it look good. Right.
I'm just trying to make it look good.
Right,
you know,
of course.
In the daytime, in between interviewing, I'm selling T-shirts out here, whatever. 'Cause I still got inventory. I'm selling stuff just to get by. But long story short, when I say God told me to put it on for this one, and I didn't just go for any house. We went for the biggest house they were making.
Of course.
So we just said, let's go. We can go. Let's go. And we were really on the tightest budget, Joy. When I say the tightest budget, I mean ramen. You know.
Yeah.
It was just like
but you make the sacrifice, right?
Make the sacrifices. And long story short, the lady that was running the property or whatever, something happened, and she, you know, kind of like disappeared. You know?
Wow.
My $5,000 check never got cashed.
Oh, wow.
You
Look
know
how that works.
So,
Look how that works.
Look how that works, right?
Right.
So, but I took that leap, though.
Right,
You
of
know,
course.
and said,
You took a chance.
I took that chance. So, long story short, they didn't realize or cash that until we almost went to closing. By that time, I did have a job, and you know, we closed on the house. Everything was good. The money was there, but it was just the fact that I still had that reserve, but you know, I just stepped down that leap of faith and made that purchase. Once I made that purchase, we still got the house going on in Hampton, but then I'm outside. You know, now I got grass and stuff, so I'm talking to neighbors, cutting my grass. Never had grass before,
Right,
so
of
we
course,
having all.
right.
And then I'm like, why are these houses going up for sale so quick? My neighbors started telling me, oh, they flipping. I was like, they flipping? What does that mean? He said, well, you know how you bought your house for this, but now it's worth that now. So these people just living it for a short period of time and they flipping it. I said, word?
I like that.
I like that.
Right.
So I go back in the house. I'm like, yo, baby, they flipping out here. And it looked good. So we went out, started looking at the different developments that's going on, prices that's going on. I mean, prices went up tremendously. That's when the property values were going up really high. Started interviewing realtors. Realized I had this one guy come in actually I know him really well now, but I saw him come in like with jeans and like a just a regular button up, and just was like, hey, what's up, and gave me my price, my house. And I'm looking at him like, dude, this is how. He's like, man, this is what it is, man. We out here getting it. Like, he's just telling me. So I'm like, I can do this.
Right.
So I enrolled in the real estate classes. Actually, my wife went with me, and we did it together, at that particular time. She couldn't get a license because it'd be a conflict for what she does because she's in banking, but she just did it. So that was our like little date time, going there and learn the classes. And once I came out, I listed the house, and I sold that house for the highest mark that anybody sold their property in actually that development. And before I even did it, what I also did was I finished the basement, and I did a lot of customizations.
That's awesome.
So that gave me two feathers in my hat. I learned as far as about how to work with general contractors,
Right.
so actually do some finished work,
Right.
and manage that. And then I was able to sell the property and walked away with a great profit.
Right. It's
So-
amazing, the story, considering that you were concerned about the $5,000 check, and then you walk away with something that, substantial.
It's totally substantial.
So, okay, so you start doing all of this, and so now, now you own a number of properties, yes? Or you flipped a number of properties.
Correct. So with that, from that success, now I got, once again, my I got the support of the family.
Right, of
Dad's
course.
like, I like what you're doing.
Right.
And so I just started buying different property. I bought more condos. I'm selling properties for other people. And like my first year in real estate in Prince George's County, I was the rookie of the year. I did over $10 million in sales.
Amazing.
And now I'm knowing the terrain. So now that I'm seeing the opportunities, I'm just helping other people make their purchases. But then that's when the market actually crashed maybe 2 years later. So at that particular time, the one person that was consistently in my area, because I wanted to just go full time. I'm seeing people make six figures off of real estate, and I'm still working my job that I needed to get into my first house.
Right.
But I'm doing real estate on the side. My dad was like, nah, you need to keep your job, My wife was like, may want to hold off. And sure enough, when the market crashed, all those people that were doing real estate full time, they were stuck. I still had my job.
Right.
But what I had now, I knew the places that were good investments because I remember what they were selling for before. So now when the price dropped, I went in because I had money, I had credit, and I bought.
Right.
So I bought properties, fixed them up, and then I would just get them to my, whether it be family members that have a situation that instead of them paying rent over here, it was like, hey, I had one good friend actually pick out everything that they wanted, the cabinets, appliances, and then I did it for them. And then just said, okay, and then you're paying rent over here, what, $1,500? Just give me $14.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
You're good.
That's awesome.
This way you can save some money to get your next property.
Right.
And then I'm good over here. And that's what it is. And what I did was, once again, we was looking at doing 529s because by this time I had my first son. And my first son, my only son, my first child.
First child, right.
Shout out to Trey.
Hey, Trey.
Yeah. So what I did was I wanted to give them something. So I started off with getting Trey a condo.
Right.
Because we was looking at 529s, and the key to it was that the 529, the particular we was looking at, he had to go to school in Maryland.
Right.
So, we went to Hampton.
Of
I'm
course.
like, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work. Right,
so
right.
I said, okay, well, what's the numbers on this and contribute? And I was like, well, if I buy this condo, the rent that we make off of this can pay for his college.
Right.
And the numbers just worked out. So I just started doing that, and then that was a good win. That was like the first one that I did a total gut, and we bought that for a great price. Like, I think I got that one for like $50,000, put 10 in it. So you figure off of the rent, you making money back in 5 years. My son is only 1.
Right.
So the house will be paid off by the time he's 6.
Yeah.
Everything off of that's his college. Or I could just be using that for other projects and then refinance it out and pay for his college. So it's like, it just works multiple ways. So once I saw that work, I said, okay, I don't want to just tie all the money up and have it in properties. Then we started flipping.
Right.
And then we started actually really buying properties at auctions and just doing full rehabs and then selling them, taking that money and then buying whole properties.
Right.
Because what I realized is that people that were actually doing flipping when the market crashed, they weren't really in great places. But the people that actually had buying whole properties, that cash flow was continual.
Right.
But I didn't want cash flow where it was just $100.
Right.
I wanted the real cash flow. So if I owned the property outright, it was really a longevity type plan that I'm always looking in the future. So I'm going to be good right now. At this particular time, I'm like maybe 30 or 35. And I'm thinking by 40, I want to have this much income coming in. But in those 5 years, those properties will all be paid off. And then if I ever need money to do a project, I can just leverage those properties because I don't believe in hard money.
Right,
Because
right.
I've seen, once again, the negative side. I mean, hard money could be great for some real estate investors. I'm not going to say anything bad, but once again, I had a more different approach of how I wanted to do things.
Based on what your previous experience
And based
was,
on
right?
my previous experience, and once again, being disciplined. Because what I realized, once again, going back to my clothing day, when you try and go for the quickest and highest mark, there's going to be a misstep.
Right, right,
But
right.
if you take the long, trust the process and say, I'm going to go from A, B, C, and just walk it down.
Right,
I can
right,
walk
right.
it down. I don't have to say I'm going to make $1 million off of one deal. You know, typically every flip, we try to do the average in the industry is about $25,000 profit.
Right.
So, but the ones that we actually, when we go after it, we're making about $70,000 profit.
Right,
on
right,
average.
right. Yeah.
So with that, we're like, okay, instead of just going out and run to another one, take 50 off of that and buy something and hold it.
Right.
And then that's going to help pay for the other ones and use the
That'll be
leverage.
continuous cash flow.
And it'll be continuous cash
Right,
flow.
right, right.
So
So
you've
you've like literally parlayed this into like you're a house flipper, but you also have holdings. So
I have holdings. So the holdings, I do. So the house flipping, really, when I was really doing the most of it, really was for other people, though. I
Right.
did a couple for myself, but when I did them for other people, I got to learn, was it really profitable? Because some people were doing flipping just to say, I'm doing flipping.
Right.
But when I look on the HUD, when they got to pay their contract, they got to pay the realtor, they got to pay transfer taxes, they got to pay all these things.
how much they
I'm
actually
looking what they
making.
really net.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's why I'm like,
I'm good.
I'm good. You got to
Right.
know the right deals. The best
Right.
deals are made on the purchase. So going towards what I was looking for, one of the other projects actually the biggest project that we're doing right now is the beach house.
Right. I saw it on social.
Yeah. So and that came about because when I first proposed to my wife, we went down to visit her grandmother and stuff, and her grandmother stayed in Atlantic Beach, South Carolina, and she just was telling us all the history about it. We're looking like, yo, this place is beautiful. I mean, it's just so like from back in the day, but the sand and the beach and the space is just beautiful, and will tell us all the stories about like this is the black beach that people of color were allowed to go in on the East Coast.
Right.
So a lot of the beaches didn't want black people during segregated times. So we was learning the history about like, you know, when different music artists would come down to perform, you know, they would go to perform down in Myrtle Beach, the hotels and everything. But when they wanted to, this is where they would come back and kick it.
Right,
you know,
right,
this
right.
is where they're like, so Sammy Davis is down with the Rat Pack, just
Right.
performing with Dean Martin. We love you, Sammy. Yeah.
Right.
All right. See you, Dean. Going to
to
the Black
Atlantic
Pearl.
Beach. Right.
Going to the Black Pearl now, and this is where we get down. And I mean, the town itself is its own incorporated town.
Oh,
so
awesome.
so you're talking about, you really got your own mayor,
Yeah.
your own police, your own everything.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
looking like, this is crazy.
So are you building that for rental, or are you building it for your family? Like, what's the plan for
That's
it?
a great question. So what I did was, the first thing we did when I saw this, I ended up buying a duplex down there.
Right.
So that was the first thing we could afford at that particular time. We bought a duplex in the early stages of our first year of our marriage. When we walked down to the oceanfront, we saw this lot, and I said, "That's dope." And she was
Right.
like, "Yeah, that's real dope." I mean, we got, once again, foreshadowing. It's on video. Like, we
Right.
have the whole conversation. Like, do you imagine if this was really totally redone, and like this would be the dopest lot to have? That lot was like $1.1 million.
Right.
Nothing on it, just a lot, because it's
Right.
oceanfront.
It's oceanfront,
It's
of course.
oceanfront. So, long story short, now after I'm doing all this flipping and all this other stuff, we went back down there and went back down. 'Cause we go every year. Went back down to Atlantic Beach, and that lot was for sale. Just hit after the recession, everything
Right.
was
Everything
foreclosed.
dropped, right.
Everybody was tight with their money, and that lot came down drastically.
Wow.
And we put an offer in and negotiated, went back and forth, and we was able to snatch it up.
Awesome.
So-
That's amazing.
So once again, we didn't build it immediately, but we had that, and now we knew that, okay, this is what we want to do. And to your point, yes, we're building it for the family, but we're building it that we're going to actually rent out, because what I did was just recently this last summer, I took that 2-unit that we was renting annually and made it a vacation home, did a full renovation, and made it like something like Airbnb, VRBO, vacation
Right,
property.
right.
And we saw what we could make actually just in the summer months was more than we was actually making on an annual basis.
Oh, awesome.
So we just went down there and saw what the numbers were looking like for this one, and yeah,
It's gonna be a nice
It's gonna
one.
be a rental.
It's gonna be a nice one. Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
a rental. So it's gonna be a rental. So really, definitely would love to. I mean, have your listeners come and check it out. Definitely send information on the
Yeah, for
the
sure.
bookings.
We'll put all the things on socials. Make sure people know where to find it.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's next for LeBe Group?
So for the LeBe Group, the
LeBe Group, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I would say, like, so the main thing that we're doing right now is once again pivoting. I've started, because of my contacts in real estate and investing, I've actually started working and helping different small business owners, because I was actually really working with them on getting them real estate to offset their taxes and do a lot of different stuff. But I've been pivotal in actually helping them partner with other business owners I know in obtaining contracts.
Oh, that's awesome.
So so with that, I've been actually doing that and working with political figures. Actually, we just assisted. I mean, I was just helping the campaign where I could. We just worked with Angela Alsobrooks, who is Prince George's County, now county elect, will be starting.
Congratulations.
She's gonna be awesome. She is fantastic. Like she says, our time. And just helping everybody else that I know that really, to your point, when we first started, there's a lot of people saying that we're going through so many, when you look at social media, you're just looking at the
Have a negative narrative.
the negative narrative,
Right.
like what's going on. But, there's certain people that are saying that we can change it. And my whole thing is that I want to be a part of that change. So, like shout out to Opal Jones.
Right, yeah.
You
Shout out to
know,
Opal.
he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, Leon, can you do anything?"
I went to junior high school with Opal.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
reached out-
crazy?
he reached out to me and was like, Leon, would like to meet with you. And, I introduced him to Angela and then helped him with some stuff with his campaign. And,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that if you see somebody that's really out to do good, don't sit on the sidelines. I'm one of the biggest believers right now. The reason I am where I am is because I had people that cheered me on and that was really advocating for me the whole way. Not silently, but like telling me, hey, like, one of my good friends from the block, when I first showed him my first property down there in Hampton, I'm thinking this is the biggest and best thing that I'm ever gonna have. And he told me, don't get too excited. You're going to have way bigger and better.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you want to have people that's going to be able to cheer you on, motivate you, and like I would say, be like your motivational whisperer. And I try to be that for people, because it's hard to go wake up every morning and say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna be successful at this, because there's so many things that's in your way that's going to make you think, nah, it's not going to happen. I mean, look at you. I mean, unexpected success. I mean, this podcast, one of the things that I put on my goal list for this year was to be on this podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy.
so when you hit me and
Oh,
was
that's
like,
awesome.
when you said, okay, Elle, are you available? I was like, oh wow. I'm like, so
no,
that's
I'm
how,
so happy.
That's how God
I'm so
works.
happy. No, I think that there's some great jewels you've dropped. I guess like, what advice would you give to like someone who wants to take a leap of faith, but they're I guess, well, first of all, they can get financing from your group, right? perhaps some consultation. But, what advice would you give someone who wants to jump?
I would definitely say create a plan. You have to have a plan.
Right.
I know we all hear the cliche, if the person doesn't plan, plans to fail. But you have to know what you're trying to achieve. Don't expect the microwave success. Because that's what we see right now. Everybody wants to be successful.
Everybody wants instant gratification, right?
Exactly.
So Instagram, instant gratification. It's
Exactly.
like everybody wants that, right? But that's just not. It's a slow bake.
Exactly.
And you gotta be patient. Patience, I think, right?
You have to have patience, and you have to find those small wins. One thing that somebody told me a long time ago, I stopped swinging for home runs. I just want singles and doubles.
Right.
I could score if I keep getting singles and doubles.
No, I think it's right. Yeah.
So, and also watch who you keep around you, because iron sharpens iron. So I like to be around motivated people. And if you're not really motivating me, then I need to exit the room, because a lot of people want to be around you just to get that energy that you're getting, but you're also getting the negative energy that they're, submitting towards you. And I would also, the last thing I would say is, find a mentor, because a lot of stuff that I've been able to do, and it's not just like, okay, sign me up, hey, can you be my mentor? It's really just see somebody that's doing what you want to do and reach out to them. I mean, people now have access with social media, with LinkedIn, and all these things.
Anybody who inspires you, you can reach out. The worst thing that can happen is that they don't respond.
Exactly. And then it's a numbers game. But what do you
lose?
It's a numbers game. So just reach out. So I would definitely say, because I do it now, I coach people that want to get interested in real estate. And I help them virtually. They hit me in my DM, and then we'll talk and call, and I'll give information. But I mean, people that are successful want to help other people. A true successful person doesn't want to be a star. A successful entrepreneur wants to help create future stars.
That's actually great. That's excellent.
That's how you want to know. Like when I tell people, when you want to be in my training program or work with me, I have a star training program, because I'm successfully trained. My successful training achieves results. And that's the only way I'm going to know if you're a star, because based on the results. I'm not going to charge you anything until I let you make money off of what I'm teaching you, because if not, then I'm just wasting my time. So the one last thing I would say for the real estate people out there that's trying to get interested in real estate, there's no need to actually go to any of those seminars that's asking you to pay like thousands and thousands of dollars. The information is in the books. Go to the library. You have the internet. Do the research.
Go to YouTube. Right?
Go to YouTube.
I mean, so much is on. It's so many resources on YouTube.
Yo, Kurt was just telling me the other day that he just found how to do something on YouTube that I was like, wow.
No, everything's on YouTube.
Everything's on YouTube. So you could just be resourceful and stop making excuses.
But we do the research, do the work beforehand, but don't do too much work that you end up doing work longer than you're actually starting, right? Because I think a lot of times people find reasons to, I'm not ready yet. Just go, just do it, and build it, and the people will come, and all those things. That's awesome.
It will work out. It will work out, because and then if it doesn't work out, pivot.
Right. Because so then, I guess, where can people? I know. Obviously, you have a number of resources. Where can people check you out?
To your point, as far as on Instagram, Bailey Made It. You could just find me on Instagram, Bailey Made It. Website is www.lebegroup.com.
And spell that out? Yeah, okay.
LeBegroup.com.
Yeah, you're on LinkedIn. You're on everything.
I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah. So awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No. So I think anybody who's out there who wants to learn more about real estate, Leon is basically offering his services, right? I mean, for a small fee, but
No, and the thing is,
it's all good.
You say a small fee, but it's really not even that much of it. It's not, the fee's not the point. It's the part that the more that we, as far as people,
help each other.
And I just say as far as people of color, because we was talking about before, as far as the first black millionaires, and I was telling you I just finished reading this book, and it's actually a great book. I was just it's called Black Fortunes, and it was just talking about those that actually I give a shout out to the author Shamari Wills, the first black millionaires, and how they got their fortunes. And you'll be surprised that most of their fortunes was built on real estate, but how they lost their fortunes was on the transfer of that legacy. I mean, I don't want to ruin the book, but it's great. And I just realized that as far as real estate, that is just something that we just know that you have to have a place to live. So we just need to work together on making sure that we're more entrepreneurs are focused. And you can see right now, I'm very excited because I'm looking at the different people right now that's talking so much on social media about real estate. You got fellow HU alum, you got Envy out there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already successful. So why? Because he realizes that the passing a legacy, I can do it through real estate.
Right, of course.
And then, Jay Morris and everybody else, there's a lot of people. So I'm just trying to say, if there's anything that you want to do, you can do. But when you want to preserve those finances and put that money in a good little tax shelter, real estate's a great place to be.
That's awesome. Awesome advice. I hope everyone took those jewels. And if We're going to place everything on social media and make sure everyone can find you and, kind of continue the conversation if they so wish. Until then, Leon, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Joy.
Of course. And thanks, guys, again for tuning in to another episode. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe, leave a review. And, until next time, Leon, keep winning.
Keep winning.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This podcast was brought to you by 23DB Productions, ID Productions, and One of One Productions. For more information, go to Facebook and Instagram, Unexpected Success with Joy.